This is how you know I'm a new KLR owner. I took off a bolt. I took a bolt off my bike, and I didn't use Loctite when I put it back on. Alright, welcome back to the Sugar Daddy Show. Like you may know, or you may not know, there have been a few changes to the channel, to the content, I guess, of the channel. New bike and all that. And with that new bike, it's a KLR 650, second gen. It's a 2012. When I got it, it only had 3,500 miles on it, so it's in relatively good shape. And the previous owner, whoever that was, they had done not a lot, but a few farkles to it. New foot pegs, crash bars, power outlet. They sprung for the optional, I guess they're optional, the brush guards, the OEM ones, which is okay, I guess, for now. Tusk shift lever. What else is on there? I think that's it, but there was a start at least. So just perusing the KLR forums and everything, KLR650.net, knowing that there's a lot of stuff that can, potentially fail on the bike. Not that I'm not happy with it. I love it. It's awesome. Since getting rid of my Jeep, it's become my new Jeep, which is kind of cool. But so I've been doing a lot of preventative. I'm looking at it. It's over there. I've been doing a lot of preventative maintenance on it. Little things, going through Loctite and bolts, changing out things. I put new fork springs in it so far. I put a new rear shock spring on it, a Top Gun shock spring. So just preventative stuff, just to kind of catch up to the game. I'm planning on looking into the doohickey to see if that's been done. I put a Thermobob 2 on there, which has been working awesome. It's been keeping the temperature, the level, which is cool. It didn't blow the engine up. It hasn't, so which is great that it's working. I put a Agri Supply tool tube on there, so I kind of supplemented my toolkit with it. I think now I'd be able to, if I got a flat, probably not change it, but at least patch it. So that's good. One of the other things that I know with the KLRs is the turn signal stalks. The ones I have are good, but again, this is like for preventative maintenance. And just randomly a few days ago, today's Monday, it was probably like last week, like maybe Wednesday or something, I just saw that there's a company that offers a kit for a fix for the stalks, basically an elimination. It's 3D cycle parts. They're out of, Wisconsin? No, Mississippi. I'm sorry. Florence, Mississippi. 3D cycle parts. I put an order for them for their turn signal stalk eliminator kit for the Gen 2 KLR, and it came Saturday, I think, so a couple days in shipping, so not bad at all. Reasonably priced for, for stuff you're buying for a bike that, you're changing that you, at that time, you don't really need yet, but preventative stuff. But it's pretty cool. They're 3D printed parts. These particular parts, not everything they offer, obviously, but the kit is 3D printed, which is pretty cool because I like the idea of 3D printing stuff, but I don't know how to do it myself, so I think it's a cool thing. But I got those in the mail. And I'm going to start putting them on today, so see how this goes. All right. Okay, so as you can see, the package there, 3D cycle parts, Florence, Mississippi, or is that Missouri? MS. Is that Missouri? I really should have paid attention to geography. It's somewhere in the United States, which is always a good thing. So here's the package. I've already opened it, obviously, just to make sure everything is in there. And other than there's a postcard saying, that there's social media channels and stuff. What else comes with the kit? You get a sticker that you can throw on the bike or wherever. 3D that you can throw on the bike or wherever. We've got that. We've got the kit itself, which is not too, pretty simple. Pretty cool stuff. There's enough pieces to do all four corners for turn signal stalks. So you get, these 8 different pieces, 3D printed pieces. I don't know if you can can see they've got that weird like carbon fiber look that 3D printed pieces have. So you get 4 plates like this that have ridges on either side that stick out. These go up against the turn signal itself. Once you remove the rubber stalk, this presses into the one of these sides presses into the turn signal itself and will actually mount on the back of your bike. So from the front of the bike, it mounts like this and presses into the turn signal and sticks up against the edge, hugs the side of your bike there. And then you've got these that go on the opposite side, so they sandwich. They make a 3D sandwich. This goes on, like for the fairing, for the front, this goes on the inside of the fairing. This one goes on the outside. You screw them together, and they include new screws, new longer screws that go through to attach everything together. So pretty simple, pretty ingenious actually, pretty neat. That it's one of those ideas like, man, I wish I had a 3D printing machine. I wish I had thought of it, but I didn't. These guys did, and so decided to support them a little bit and order my parts from them as opposed to trying to figure out some DIY fix. So 3D Cycle Parts, check them out. They've got a pretty nice website. I've looked on it since then and found other things that I wish I had gotten that I didn't, so I'm definitely going to be placing an order with them again, 3D Cycle Parts. Okay, here we are. This is the left rear, driver's side rear if you were in a car. To get this off, I don't know, maybe it's different. This is my first KLR. I've got Allen head screws here, so I need an Allen head wrench. There's 2 of them. There's also something. Apparently there's bolts back there. Don't lose them. There we go. And there's 2. Once you get it off, this is what you get. You get a dangly thing and you can see there's a very small Phillips head screw right there. I've already done the one side, this side on the front, and it's very hard to get to. You can't use a long screwdriver. You got to use a small stubby one, and trying to get in there without stripping out the head is very difficult. So take that into account. So take this screw out on the back of the Stalk. Yeah. Radiator guard works perfect for that because stuff doesn't bounce. There's a little bracket that's in there. You won't need that. And then you'll have the back of the Stalk itself sticking out through this bracket. You can just take it and however you want to get it out through the bracket without destroying the bracket, obviously. There's a plate. You just kind of push the back of the Stalk through the bracket, and the bracket comes off like that. There's a plate inside of the bracket to give it a little bit of rigidity. You won't need to use that either. In the 3D Cycle Parts video, the gentleman doing it just says he just zip ties them out the way. I'm just cutting them off because that way I don't have to listen to them rattle once the zip ties break. Now once you get that bracket off, there's another screw down inside there, Phillips head. You can use your longer screwdriver for this one also. Find it. And just lefty-loosey it until it's no longer tidy. And that separates the bracket, the Stalk itself from the housing, the bolt housing. Now, we've got this rubber boot, this rubber Stalk, side cutters for that. Just remember there are wires in there, so don't go cutting too willy-nilly. Stick towards the rear, it should be okay. Just cut it down, all the way down. Get that bracket out the way that's inside there floating now. And then you have the Stalk cut. Now you have the stalk cut. You can take your stalk off, you can throw it away, you can keep it, do whatever you want to with it. It's yours, you paid for it, unless you stole the bike. So now what's left is you have the bulb housing, you have that inner bracket that was down inside attached to the bulb housing itself. Then you have another bracket that was further up in the stalk closer to the bike. Just tin snips, I guess, work great for these. The metal itself is not thick, you don't need those parts. You can keep them on the bike if you want to. Or, like I said, I don't want them to come loose and then one day I'll be hearing them. So, watching out for the wires, just cutting one side, cutting two sides. There's the one bracket off right there. And then the other one is thicker, but it shouldn't be too much of a problem. That one cut, and two cuts. And you can take that other bracket off, you can throw it away, you can keep it for scrap, add it to your pile if you want. So now you have no brackets on there, you just have the wires going in. We have this bracket, I guess technically, that mounts everything to the bike. So now what you do is you grab your bits. What you have is the plate that goes right up against the bulb housing itself, and then you have this plate that goes on the other side of the bracket away from the bulb housing that secures, makes a sandwich, basically, a 3D sandwich. So I got from 3D Cycle Parts, there you can see it. I got the easy installation slotted kit that has the slot there. You can see. I guess their older kit didn't have the slot, so you would have to splice your wires, cut them and splice them. But I think that's cool too. They realized that there was a problem and they revised their design, which is neat. And it's not like they made the whole ones and then drilled them out. It's actually like they redesigned the piece and added that slot, so it just slips. So the wires slip in. The smaller side, there's one you can see kind of there. This side extends further up the bracket than this side does. This side is the one that presses into your bulb housing. So your bulb housing is like this, and then the shorter side, you just stick the wires through, like so. Stick them through the slot. Easy peasy lemon squeezy. And it literally just press fits onto the bulb housing. Just a snug little press fit. Won't come off. I think that's pretty neat. I'm like amazed by the pieces because I do wish I had thought of it myself. It's one of those ideas. It's one of those ideas. It's one of those ideas that you do wish you had thought of yourself because it's just so simple. But it's a need, people needed it and they came up with it, and now they can make millions, maybe, I don't know. Alright, so then we have the other piece that's also slotted. I didn't see any instructions, I didn't read the instructions, I don't know if there were instructions in there. I watched a video or two on how to install them. On the front, there's two sides to this. There's this side with like the H, and then there's this side that's flat. On the front, I put the flat side up against the inside of the bike. So like this it'd be the bracket, and then the fairing, and then the other bracket, and then the bulb housing. I tried it like this first with the H touching the fairing. I don't know if that's right or not, but like this, flat up against, it fit flush up against the fairing, no fit issues or anything like that. So I don't know which way's right. If somebody knows, then good for you. But until I figure it out, or until it falls off, I'm just going to do the same. So the flat will go up against the inside of the bracket, I think. We'll try that. And again, it just slides through using the slot. And it literally just sits up against the inside of that bracket. Let's see how that's on the other side too. I'm gonna turn it over and see how the H side fits, if that maybe makes a difference. No, I don't like that. It doesn't fit flush. It doesn't fit flush against the hole, so I'm assuming that the H side goes towards your bike, the flat side goes towards the face of the bracket, so we'll just do it like that. So you just use the slot, stick it on there, and take them and literally you just sandwich the bracket in between the two pieces. They include screws, longer screws. All you do, just screw it in. It's just going into plastic, so be careful with it. I don't know what the torque settings are. I just snugged it until it was tight. You've eliminated your stock Stalk, and you've that's it. That's the installation for the rear. And then you just place the bracket back on here. And you're gonna have more now because you've taken out all that. So you're gonna have a little bit more wire now. So that's no problem. Find that in back. Come back on the back. It's gonna be a pain in the butt, I know it. Put it flush up against, that's what I'm doing. I'm putting it flush up against the back and then just wiggling it around until this Allen head bolt finds its nut. There we go. And I've got a new Stalk eliminated kit. Pretty cool. And it's rubber mounted, so it should still not kill your bulbs too quickly. There we go. So, move on to the front. The installation for the front is pretty much the same for the back. The only difference being with the front, back up in here, behind in here, there's that same screw, the small screw that's in the back. It's very hard to get to in the case of the front. So again, be careful with it, because in the back it's not really a problem if you strip out the head of it. If you strip out the head on the front, good luck. You're just gonna have like uneven stalks. So very stubby screwdriver works best for that, because you can get your hand in there, and it's basically just a matter of figuring it out. There's no real easy way to do it. You just kind of gotta do it. So I'm not Joss Whedon. I'm trying to get rid of my lens flare there. Direct. You can see here, there's the little screw that comes out, and you can see the head of it. It was black. It should have been black. That's just from me trying to get it out. About 20 minutes or so of just like reaching in there and scraping off paint and totally missing the thing. And it holds in a bracket, or holds on a bracket behind it, which holds the Stalk through the fairing. So you won't need those pieces. You can just kind of reach up underneath there and push the Stalk through. Again, just like in the back. Just push it through the hole in the fairing, and it goes up. And you should get the same thing. You get a bracket there, and down inside it's the same as in the back. There's a screw, Phillips head, which you unscrew, which detaches it from the bracket that's up inside there. Again, another bracket in there. And basically it's the same thing. From this point, again, you cut off these two little metal clips, the one in there, you cut the rubber boot with the side cutters, you install the 3D cycle parts bracket, and then you just button it back up and put your fairings back on. And then you have eliminated your stalks. Okay, so I hope you enjoyed the install of the 3D Cycle Parts KLR 650 turn signal stalk eliminator kit. I cut it off after I said that one side, the front, is pretty much the same as the rear. What I ended up doing for the right is I had to loosen up the fairing. Actually, I had to go inside. There's again, I don't know if the previous owner put them in or not, but there's a couple Allen head screws that I have holding the fairing on in the top. I ended up taking those off on the right hand side, so I was able to actually pull the fairing out a little bit further, because for whatever reason on that right hand side you can't get a screwdriver in there lined up enough to tighten up the screw into the housing itself. The left hand side, I had done that before just to make sure I knew what I was doing, and it was pretty easy. I did have to take the fairings off. I didn't have to loosen up any of the upper fairing parts to pull them out. They just kind of, everything went together easier, and obviously you saw the rear is super simple, takes less than 5 minutes aside if you just kind of like go through it and do it. So again, I hope you liked that install. If you didn't, leave a comment below. Let me know why, and maybe I'll do better next time, or maybe I just won't care. If you did like it, yeah, send a thumbs up. Obviously, that always helps. If you want to subscribe, push my subscription up and my subscribers up into the double digits, or whatever. Hopefully, I'm back. Barring any other personal tragedies or anything like that. So this show should go on. Like I said, it's a new bike for me. Mosquitoes. The KLR 650, but I'm loving it so far. I've had it for a little bit less than a month, and I'm loving it. It's awesome. It's just like, it's fun. It's comfortable. So much more comfortable than the Bonneville. It's slow, yeah, obviously, but you know what? I'm old. I don't need to go fast, and you can still lean over on the thing pretty good. It'll take you where you want to go as pretty much as quickly as you need to get there. So. Yeah, so stay tuned. Hopefully the channel's back on track now, and I hope to see you next time. Yep, so see ya. But what I'm gonna do, sling it down, like so. And that's literally it. And now you've eliminated your stalk. You eliminated your stalk. Your stock.